You are a heart-centered sign, Cancer, and that's one of your greatest gifts. This month, though, it serves you, it brings benefits for you to act like an observer, for you to be a little bit like the High Priestess and just notice how and when certain feelings come up or certain thought patterns and inner monologues come up routinely, habitually, unconsciously. Hi, Cancer. Welcome to Zero's Journey. I'm Madeline, and here on this channel, we use a compass of courage, curiosity, compassion, and creativity to get where we want to go by being exactly where the fuck we are. So we're going to get into your tarot reading for the month in a second, Cancer, but I want to bring us back to your orientation point, the sort of North Star that Spirit gives me before your reading to say, if you're ever wondering what to do this month, come back to this. So the Observer. Like I said, this card is a little bit like the High Priestess. You can see that there's a crystal ball. You can also see that these hands hold the threads of fate. Things are happening, some of it is in our control and some of it isn't. And when we get confused, when we get anxious, when we get nervous, or when we get excited, we want to start tugging on strings. And Spirit is asking you this month to not tug, to simply observe the weaving and notice how even just noticing, every time I talk to this person, I find myself in this type of a mood afterward. Or when I engage in this behavior, it makes me feel this way about myself, or etc. Noticing, observing, even taking notes, like a psychologist might. They're not judging you, and they're also not jumping on the emotional train. They're watching the train and going like, did you notice that when you talk to your mother, you talk to yourself in a very different way once you get off the phone? That kind of thing. You feel me, Cancer? We're going to get into it, but this is how Spirit is kicking us off. Happy New Year! It's 2022. It's the year of the lovers. And the lovers, of course we think about love, and I'm here for it. But the lovers, even more or beyond or bigger than that, is about union of the self and the ignition that happens, the jumps that happen, the expansion that happens when we connect with ourselves and we're in agreement with ourselves. In other words, we're not demonizing things that we want or things that we need or things that we do. We're looking at ourselves with compassion, right? Observer, a kind observer, a gentle observer. If any of you meditate or if you've read much about meditation, it's that kind of thought. It's that compassionate attention. I'm being a compassionate witness to my boredom or my pain or my happiness or whatever. And just noticing. And when you do that, magic can happen. It sounds strange, but have you tried it? Don't at me till you've tried it. I've done a month of noticing a pattern and just noticing and just being with it kindly and compassionately and being like, it makes sense that I would react this way considering that this is what happened to me in the past. And notice that you start to loosen and you become more spacious. And when you loosen and become more spacious, more of your power, more of your wisdom, more of your strength, your patience become available because you're not tugging on all the strings, All right. Let's talk about it, Spirit. We're talking to Cancer, Spirit, Cancer folks. Cancer Sun, Cancer Moon, Cancer Rising, Cancer Dominant people. What do Cancers need to know? In the month of January 2022, Spirit. What do we need to know? Their highest good about where they are, where they've been, and what they need to know about that to get where they want to go. For their greatest sense of joy, peace, abundance, ease in January, Spirit. Let's see, Cancer, what do we got here? All right. January 2022, Spirit. What do you want to tell Cancer? Well, wow. Well, okay. I can see why Spirit was saying what they were saying. Wait till I show you these cards. It rhymes exactly with what everything Spirit's been talking about. Okay, so center of your reading. Here is where this cycle, right, begins, or the orientation point that Spirit wants to offer you. I know. Try to resist the urge to click away. Let's talk about it first. The devil, first of all, isn't evil, isn't bad, doesn't represent like, oh, terrible things are going to happen to you. The devil represents patterns. The devil represents things that have strings attached to us, whether it's habits we have, addictions to patterns, people, substances, situations that keep us low energy, low mood, low sense of potential and possibility, because we're kind of locked in, boxed in. We want to notice, observer, and this is the same advice you would get with the devil. It's like, don't demonize the devil. Don't demonize that habit that you have of binge eating or binge watching TV or something to kind of drown out and dissociate. Instead, I'm just going to jump to your future, which is very bright in every sense of the word. Instead, bring consciousness to it. The devil thrives in the dark because the devil is what we're ashamed of. If there is something that we want or do or crave that we think is bad, wrong, beneath us, selfish, whatever, we tend to shame it, we tend to hide it, and then that desire still shows up in our life just in some weird, twisted, messed up way. Like, instead, we could just say, hey, I have attachment wounds and I can tend to be a little jealous or whatever. And that's a lot better than, oh no, I'm fine, do whatever you want. And then like, shredding their clothes when you're putting them in the laundry. Spirit's being funny, Spirit's being dramatic. But to be healthy is to know that all of us have stuff that we do that isn't necessarily stuff that we're proud of. And the more compassionate we are with ourselves, the better we are able to untangle ourselves, unchain ourselves. If you notice, these two figures that are chained to the devil here, those chains around their necks are very loose, and they're very much voluntarily put on. They can pick these up and lift off and go whenever they want to. And the same is true for you, Cancer. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying it is available. And that the rest is up to you, because far be it from me to blame, shame, judge you, and neither I nor Spirit would ever. But if you feel like you've been in a pattern that isn't working for you, that is keeping you low, that is keeping you held back in whatever way, now's the time to bring all of your brightness, your creativity, your magic, your intuition to the table. The Queen of Wands is crossing the devil. Again, you have a card of bringing light to things. Wands are fire. Fire transmutes things. It changes things. It's time to think creatively. It's time to think differently. And I would also say, Cancer, that I'm seeing that it's important for you to remember where you are in this equation. I will pick up and show you why. Where you find yourself, the Hermit, needing to follow your own path, needing to listen to yourself, needing to perhaps even shut out the voices, the input of other people and other things so that you can hear and feel yourself. The Observer, the Hermit. The Hermit is a hop, skip, and a jump from the High Priestess. What they have in common is they're collecting data. They are learning and processing and searching, and they don't make a move until they know, okay, now it's time to make a move. So being with yourself, recognizing patterns that need to break down. And it feels really important that you do that because I'm seeing trouble. I'm seeing some things dissolving, and well, let's just talk about it, Cancer. First, let's jump to your past. Four of Pentacles. I'm hearing trying to keep things the same, trying to hold on to things, trying to keep things exactly the way they are, and feeling constricted, feeling like you don't have enough resources, feeling like, how do I hold this together? What do I do? And here's what I'm hearing: you can't hold it together. That doesn't mean you're not strong enough. That's not what Spirit means by that. It's that this is an untenable situation. Something does have to change. And okay, going on within you, or something that you are going through that is hidden. The Tower. It's one of those cards nobody likes to see. The Tower is sudden change. It's things dissolving. It's getting hit with difficult news that throws your life into disarray. You can see the people that are being thrown from this tower. And there's also a crown coming off the top of this tower. So here's the thing. The tower does represent something has to go. Something has to fall apart. Something's got to give. Now, the benefit of getting a tarot reading is that when you see this tower, you can ask yourself, is there something that I know for sure is on shaky ground, or even is already dissolving, or a pattern or a situation that I've been feeling like is untenable and not good for me and was going to at some point, this is what's hovering above the tower, break my heart, hurt me, cause sadness, separation, heartbreak. If there is something shaky, untenable, unsustainable that needs addressing, now is the time, like Spirit said, to bring your light, your creativity, your confidence, your personal magic and charisma to it. The Queen of Wands is magical as fuck. She can change things by virtue of her warmth, her generosity of spirit, her brightness. People are attracted to her, people want to help her. If you need assistance, ask for it. Don't suffer in silence. Don't suffer in silence. I'm going to say it twice because it's important. Because this Hermit card, this Devil card, this Tower card, this Three of Swords card, Four of Pentacles, it's like you're trying to hold it all in and hold it all together. And you don't need to do that. There are people around you who care about you. This Queen of Swords feels like a great ally. For some of you, this feels like sisterly energy. That could mean blood and biological, that could mean chosen. But Queen of Swords is someone who fights for you. Someone who stands up for you no matter what. Someone who has great integrity, great honor. And if they, like, oh, whoa, this is what Spirit just said. They definitely know what this is in your life. And Spirit just said for some of you and who this is. And I don't mean that this person's like, oh, the literal devil. I mean the person who brings you down, or the person that you have attached yourself to and maybe fed too many of your resources to where you're tapped out and going without. And Spirit wants you done with that. I would listen to this person's advice. Who is the Queen of Swords in your life? Reminder, if you haven't been on this channel before, Queen and King have nothing to do with gender and sex and everything to do with personality type. A Queen of Swords is a master strategist. She's great with her words. She's probably funny, sharp as fuck. She's the one you go to when you want the honest fucking truth. Does this guy suck? Do I need to stop dating him? Is he taking me for granted? Is he taking advantage? Are they I don't mean to shout down men. I'm just saying, like, from this perspective, from what I'm hearing, that's what Spirit is asking. This person will shoot you straight, is what I'm hearing. And also, the key to your whole reading. Four of Wands. There is love here. There is support here. There is partnership. This is home, family, celebration, etc. There are people who love and care about you, and Spirit doesn't want you to suffer in silence. What's showing up as the potential And this card is kind of the most malleable in the whole reading. Like, things could go this way if we don't attend to the energy. Like, if we change nothing, this is how things are tending to be going. And 3 of Swords left unattended does become 10 of Swords, because 10 of Swords is that exhaustion. I'm tapped out. I'm done. I can't. I've tried everything. I've said everything I could. I persuaded, I cajoled, I tried, I debated, and after everything, I still end up like this. You don't need to do that. Your future holds the Sun. Your present holds the Queen of Wands. Advocate for yourself. Ask for what you need. Bring your confidence, your charisma, your creativity to this everyday situation, and observe the patterns that you have, the things that bring you down. Just notice. You don't even have to change anything right now. Just noticing will change things. And yes, Spirit just said, in some of your cases, noticing things and becoming aware of patterns creates a tower moment. Because it's like, oh my God, this work situation is total bullshit, or this relationship situation is a sham, or I'm getting evicted, or like whatever. Looking into things can represent finding shit. But the cost of finding shit is worth finding yourself, your path, your sense of safety, positivity, understanding. The Sun is like, the road is lit ahead of me. I know where I'm going. I know what I'm doing. I feel good. I feel positive. I feel excited. So Spirit is saying, don't treat people like they need kid gloves. Treat them like they can handle a straightforward discussion. Treat them like they can show up and take responsibility, and they can help out, and they can this and that. Don't do the thing that a lot of Cancer people can do, of martyring yourself, sacrificing your needs on the altar of making somebody else happy, or getting their approval, or not stirring the fucking pot. You got a wand, Queen. Stir the fucking pot. Have the conversation once you've observed the pattern, when you're ready. But notice the patterns first within yourself, because then you can alter the way that you respond, and that in itself starts shifting the pattern without even ever having to have the difficult conversation. You know what I'm saying? You can have the difficult conversation. Maybe it's going to come up in February, but for now, just noticing the way that you operate within your own system and making the changes that a confident, self-possessed, creative person would make, because that is who you are. Start thinking of yourself that way. Digest that. Maybe that's part of your little ego death with the Tower, is like, oh shit, things are going to change when I start asking people for what I want. Yeah, and it's going to be a little uncomfortable, but it's going to be worth it. Here's the thing. We get what we think we deserve. You've probably heard me say it before. If this world operated on the fucking principle of good people get good things and bad things happen to bad people, then this world would look dramatically different. But if you ask yourself and you look through the lens of people get what they think they deserve, and we start looking at these old dudes with a whole bunch of power and a whole bunch of money and a whole bunch of everything, and so many of us that want to be generous, want to be kind, want to share with so little, we start to notice they're like, okay, so maybe that is a little bit of the operating system down here. And that's a gift, because we can improve what we think we deserve. We can change, as I like to call it, our thermostat. We can get really comfortably uncomfortable, living at 30 degrees. And living at 30 degrees through our childhood, let's just say, of like emotional weather, we put on a lot of layers. We put on self-defense, we put on, a sense of humor, we put on layers of self-protection of various types. And until then, we can live in 30 degrees and we're fine, we're good, we're comfortable, because we got all these layers on. And when we start to change things, when we say, you know what, I don't want to live in 30 degrees anymore, I'm going to start asking for what I need from my partners or my work or my whatever. When we start to heat things up, we haven't yet shed the layers we're wearing, so we raise the thermostat and we start to sweat. And we're going to do one of two things. Either we're going to stay conscious and we're going to shed some of these layers a little at a time. Okay, I don't need to hide what it is that I want actually. I'm safe to ask for what I need and I can receive support. And we shed a little layer at a time. Raise the thermostat, shed a layer. Raise the thermostat, shed a layer. Start to sweat. It's okay. This discomfort is a sign that I'm changing, that I'm improving, that things are moving, that energy is shifting, right? We can do that, or we can run into the other room and we can crank down the thermostat back to 30 degrees. Self-sabotage, roll back on boundaries we were trying to set, go back on what we said we were going to express because we don't want to rock the boat. Don't do that. Adjust your thermostat. Get a little uncomfortable to get really fucking comfortable. Okay? Okay, Cancer. Wishing you lots of luck, lots of love and blessings this month, Cancer. I appreciate you being here. If you ever want to get a personal reading, or you just want to continue chatting about tarot and astrology and things like that, all the ways to hang out or get a reading are in the little box below. I appreciate you, and I'm wishing you the best month, and if I don't see you in a vlog, then I hope I will see you in your February reading. Bye, Cancer.